What if solving just one problem in your home inspection business could bring in $100,000 over the course of the next year? Would you focus on that problem? Of course you would, right? I mean, the truth is if we could isolate it to one problem, if we could just determine what the one thing was that if we fixed it, it would bring 100,000 more dollars to our business, all of us would stop what we were doing and we would go and solve that problem. Well, guess what? Some things in your business really are that simple. Let's talk about it. This is actually something I hear really frequently inside of the Inspector Empire Builder community. It's the fact that when people solve the right problems in their business, they typically earn a lot more money. And we don't really care much about just earning money. What we care about is profit. And so that's why it's so important to fix the right problems. If we're only concerned with revenue, then the answer to every single problem is going to sound something like more inspections. But if we're concerned with profit, then the answer to every single problem is going to sound something more like what's the best system or the best process I can put in place here so that I can build the machine that brings me money so I can live the life I want to live. Way different way of thinking. And so most inspection businesses that I see are suffering from one of two problems with growth. Either their market truly is just a declining market, or there's just not a lot of market share to grab, or they're focusing on solving the wrong problems. Let me give you some examples of this. So, a lot of people tell us that they can't get to capacity or they can't hire somebody, and then they're worried that if they do hire somebody, that they won't be able to fill that person's capacity. Well, remember what I just said a second ago? If we're trying to solve everything with more inspections, then more inspections will always be the problem that we have in our business. Instead, in those exact same scenarios, we might shift towards something like, well, how do I go build the system that brings inspections so that I have to hire people? Well, that's a way different way of thinking, isn't it? Instead of thinking about bringing on an inspector and now I have to fill their capacity, I'm thinking about building a system that brings inspections and now I must hire an inspector because I'm giving business away and I'm full. All right, so that's just an example. We're going to dive a little bit more into this. So, one of the things I see people doing that costs them way too much money, potential income, potential profit in their business, is waiting too long to hire. The opposite is true too, hiring way too early when you're not yet ready for it and your market doesn't support it, or you haven't built the relationships to support it. But waiting too long to hire can be a profit killer. Now, if you've been in business long enough and you've been at capacity or you have a team, then you know what this is like. You are seeing the busy season coming your way and you're thinking, man, last year I wasn't able to take all the business. I was turning business away. And this year I'm going to hire somebody. But what most companies do is they wait too close to the busy season or even into the busy season before they feel confident enough to hire somebody. Okay, I get that because you want to feel that you are secure in the amount of business you have so that you can bring somebody on and fill their capacity. But here's the thing, if you're going to really build a true scaling business, then what you've got to do is hire somebody early enough to train them and have them out on their own producing revenue ahead of the busy season. And so that's just one thing people do. So instead of waiting for the busy season so that we can feel safe and confirm in my mind that there's going to be business and then we hire somebody, which leaves lots and lots of money on the table for a busy market, what we want to do is back that up and build the system that can bring somebody into our world. So recruit, hire, and train them to become a revenue producing person in our business ahead of the busy season. See how simple that is? Easy to talk through, more difficult to pull off, like most things in coaching. Another thing I see inspection business owners doing is focusing on more inspections, more inspections, more inspections, which means they've kind of got this mindset that they're going after the next job rather than they are building a pipeline. Way different way of thinking. I know I've said that a million times, but we've got to shift the way we're thinking here. If we're going to build a business that scales and takes advantage of all the dollars that are possible for us to make in our market, we can't think in iterations. We have to think in big, massive movements, which means we're not just thinking about getting the next job. We're not calling that agent for one more inspection. What we're doing is building a pipeline of relationships, a pipeline of referrals, And this means that every step in the communications flow that we have around a job or around doing growth work or anything else is going to have multiple steps where in each step, we take advantage of the relationship building opportunity and we take advantage of the opportunity to network and grow our pipeline. Here's a little more practical view of what that looks like. When you go do an inspection, it's low hanging fruit, right? So you have a job. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you're not just taking that transaction, but you're using it as an opportunity to deepen the relationship with your agent. Now, at scale, this is more difficult, but if you're getting to scale, then it's a little easier because you're not quite as full yet. When you have that opportunity to develop the relationship, you're not just trying to become friends, although that's a positive outcome as well. You're not just trying to become friends. What you're trying to do is get to know them to such a degree that you can then give them some sort of compliment, affirmation, or reason to like and trust you. And then you ask them to introduce you to their peers. And so it's not going to be something like this. Hey, I'm Mark. I'm a home inspector. You're an agent. I think you're awesome. Can you introduce me to your friends? No, no, no. It's going to be more like, I've really gotten to know you and I see what you're doing in this space as a realtor. And I'd love to meet some of your friends because they must be awesome just like you. And I want to know more awesome people. Truly a relationship building strategy that helps you build a pipeline, expand your network. Same thing can be true of referrals. So when it's time in your transaction communications flow to ask for a referral, it's the same idea, right? And so, hey, it's not like this. Hey, do you have any more jobs for me to do? It's going to be more like, hey, it was awesome working for you. I hope everything worked out well. Just following up. By the way, we are here for you if you need to schedule anything else right now. And the next thing, this is a really big one, okay? Guys and girls out there in the industry, this one might start to hurt some feelings. And if this one doesn't, the next one definitely will hurt some feelings. I have personally hurt some people's feelings on the next one. But before we get to that, we have to talk about not having systems. Now, all of us think that we have systems, think that we follow processes, but oftentimes when I ask people if they have systems and processes, they say yes. And then when I say, are they written down so that you can follow them consistently enough to improve them? The answer is usually something like no, or I have a few of them written down, they're not complete. Here's the thing. If you are going to improve your business, or if you're going to run a really great business, there must be a culture of continual improvement. Whether you're solo or a huge company or somewhere in between, a culture of continual improvement, which means your reports, your scheduling, your communication, your training, everything is consistently improving over time. That will not happen if your systems and your processes are not written down. I promise you, it won't. So if your entire business is in your head, if all the things that you do are just in your head floating around and that's your version of systems and processes, then you do not have systems and processes. In fact, you don't even really have a business. What you have is an idea that you revisit every once in a while. All right, so here's the one that I have personally hurt feelings by calling out. And of course, my goal is never to hurt anybody's feelings, but people have a lot of ego wrapped up in their business and a lot of ego wrapped up in how they go about doing their technical work. And so a lot of owners in our industry will not let go of key pieces of their business because they believe that they are the best person for the job. In case nobody has ever told you this, somebody can do better than you. And the key principle in scaling a business is that if you really are that good at doing the technical work in your business, then everybody else you bring on really only needs to be about 80% of what you can do. Now, that's a whole deep well of conversation around bringing in talent and getting them up to speed and self-managed and all of that. But for now, I'll just say this. If you are holding back or bottlenecking the growth of your business because you're not letting go of systems or processes that other people could be managing for you, or if you're not letting go of training inspectors when somebody else could be doing it for you, this is going to be more in the team building lane, of course, then what you're doing is you're the one slowing down everything and causing tons and tons of frustration and leaving tons of money on the table as a business owner. Your world will greatly improve and your freedom will accelerate as you learn to properly let go of things, to properly delegate, build feedback loops, and make sure the continual improvement and excellence is being done rather than you doing everything excellently. And finally, no list is complete about leaving money on the table unless we throw this in as well. If you don't know where you're going, then you're going to walk in circles, period. If you don't have a destination someplace farther out than the area you are right now, then what you're going to do is stay in the same place where you are. That's both figuratively and functionally. So I'm talking about vision. If you don't have a vision for your business that is clear, articulate, and written down, then you have no destination for your business. And that means that on average, you are leaving tons of money on the table. Why is that? It's because you are going slower than you could. You are walking with what probably feels like your feet stuck in the mud. You are holding on to everything. You have no reason to give things away, delegate, and you have no systems and processes. You haven't written things down. Sound familiar? All the things I just went through. When we have a clear vision, a clear objective for our business, then that means we know where we're going, and that means we know what we're building. The clarity around that specific piece, having a vision that drives you, means that you're going to waste a lot less time, which means you're going to make a lot more money. Make sense? So from the top, as a business coach in the home inspection space, I see these things in real life every single day. And if you fix these problems in your business, even just one of them, you could be adding tons of revenue and profit to your business. I've seen it happen. I see it happen. I will see it happen in the future. Why? Because really we're working on helping humans level up, not just businesses. These are human problems, you guys. They happen in every single industry. If you fix these, you'll have a competitive advantage because most people are not even thinking like this. Okay, again, from the top, hiring too early or too late, no pipeline in place, no systems or processes because they're in your head, not written down. The owner won't let go, and no clear vision for your business. Work on these things, but don't expect them to be overnight changes. If you need help with any of these things, feel free to reach out to us, support@iebcoaching.com, or go over to our website, iebcoaching.com, and we'd be happy to help you with any of this. But definitely do this. Drop a comment because I want to know which one of these you're going to work on next in your business or which one needs your attention the most right now. Until the next video, see you guys.